What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video on this channel. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning and I've watched a big ass spider film 4 times now this week. I've wrote my notes down. I want to talk to you about this film. It's a Mike Mendez film. Krytos recommended it as a film. He's never seen it before, but he said it has some really good reviews. It's meant to be like a B horror film. Check it out. So cool. And I've watched it once, enjoyed it. Watched it a second time, wrote some notes down, watched it a third time to kind of point out a few things that I might have missed out on the first couple of times. And then I've just finished watching it, like I said, and I just want to complete my notes and talk to you guys about it. And we start the video, or we start the film off with the main character kind of waking up in a bit of a blur, a bit of a mist, a bit of confusion, in a bit of a slow motion. It could basically be a Coldplay music video, and he wakes up. The main character's name is Alex, and being British, I look at this guy and think he looks like Dom Jolly from Trigger Happy TV. I'll put a picture somewhere here to see if you guys agree, but yeah, basically he's walking towards this noise. Soldiers are running, you know, normal people are running away, and he's walking towards. Like I said, it feels like it could be a Coldplay video for sure. I'm gonna try and add a little clip here. See what I mean? So we get helicopters shooting at this massive spider. Nothing's been told yet, but we get helicopters shooting at this massive spider on top of the building. You know, nothing's been told. CGI's not great on the spider. It's alright, it's a big horror film. You're not expecting anything else to happen. These helicopters are shooting. It's a bit like King Kong, with like the aeroplanes attacking the monkey on the gorilla on the whatever you want to class him as, being on top of the tower block. That's how this movie's starting, with a giant spider being shot at by helicopters. Again, there'll probably be a little clip somewhere here as I'm talking, if I want to be that technical and tactical with what I'm doing. So in my notes, I've actually classed it as 12 hours later, but I'm pretty sure it must have said 12 hours earlier, and I've just wrote the wrong thing down because it's earlier in the day. But basically, we see Alex, the main character. He's an exterminator. He's there to get rid of your pests in America. And he's at an old woman. I say old, she's probably about 40, 50 years old. But he's at an old woman's house. I think he's getting rid of a rat. And she can't pay. She makes this whole thing about, you're the best person in the world. She goes, oh, they're disgusting creatures, and he's like, they're beautiful creatures to me. So you can show that he's got a true passion of the job that he does. And that, for me, I kind of like, not symbolises, but I like that. I like the fact that he puts a passion into his work. It shows that he's committed to do stuff from an early point of this film. And instead of being paid, this woman's like, oh, I haven't been paid my benefit money. Here's a cake. And he's like, he chucks it on the back of the seat. And he's like, oh, thank you so much, love. You're fantastic. What you see is when it lands on the cake, when it lands on the seat, it lands on more cakes. So she's clearly done it to him before. It's not a one-off thing that the government haven't paid her money properly for one-off time. It seems to be a constant thing, but he doesn't mind. I think her name was Mrs. Jefferson, or Miss it's something like Jefferson. She is asking Alex why he's not in a commitment yet, or in a relationship, or married, and he's like, oh, I've not found the right woman. So that kind of, again, from 5 minutes into this film, you now know what he does as a job, you know what kind of person he is, and you know that he's a single character, which leads on to a little bit later on, because you find out that he's a bit of a flirt. I think he thinks he's a bit of a womanizer as well. He might not be, but that's kind of how it comes out. There's a bit, so when he's speaking to this lady, Mrs. Jefferson, this spider kind of crawls on his shoulder, and he's like, that's one of the most poisonous spiders, you know. And she's like, oh, I've got it. Ba-dumph. and it bites him. So the next scene you see is him going into hospital, and he flirts with, I think her name is Nurse Lisa. But yeah, he flirts with her constantly, like constantly, and you can kind of see that he's probably looking at a relationship level of some point. But yeah, I think he thinks he's a bit of a womanizer. But that's going a little bit further ahead now. Like he's been hit by the old lady, been bitten by the spider. They're in the hospital. He's being checked out. He's actually telling the nurse what kind of spider it was and what kind of bite it does and what he needs for recovery, which is, you know, him being clever, I guess. Also, my notes got chewed up by my dog, so I've got one sheet of paper that's kind of wrote down and it's like literally destroyed. Alex, yeah, so I've literally wrote down Alex vibes Dom Jolly for me for sure. If you don't know what Trigger Happy TV is, I'll try and put a little clip in again up that corner. But it's a bloke that I think it was on ITV or Channel 4 in the UK. Big old telephone, he shout hello in a library and stuff like that. It's just cringy kind of content, which Brits love. You can't rely on the government. Was one of my favourite little comments early on, because the whole film is to do with the government. So he's telling Mrs. Jefferson about when she's like, oh, I can't pay my bills and whatever else. And he's like, oh, you can't rely on the government. Here's a cake. And then later on, yeah, it kind of plays on it. I think that's a really clever line. So Alex gets bitten by a spider, like I said, and Mrs. Jefferson whacks him on the shoulder. I'm guessing she kills the spider, but not before it bites him. And in all fairness, he's been bitten by a highly poisonous spider. We're in 2021, 2022 nearly. When I see someone getting bitten by a spider, I expect superpowers. We get a drunk scientist, we get a creepy music background going on, we get a monster jump scare, it's behind you kind of moment, very Panto style. The jump scare happens, we get the flickering lights, it's all B-horror, budget, jump scary kind of goodness, which is the stuff that I like. The scientist guy, the drunk scientist guy, I know who he is. He's been in a few things that I've seen before, but I just can't think what the guy's name is. But he's attacked by this spider in such a Panto way, and they don't really show you what happens. So I actually thought he died. I thought he was killed off. Like, oh, there's a guy, he's dead. First kill. And that didn't actually happen. He was just bitten. And we find that out a little bit later, because you see the bloke with the damage on the bite. The spider's bigger than a normal spider. We then talk to a security guard called Jose, and they say about this spider being bigger than a normal spider. He's like, oh, it's a monkey. And it's like, no, it's a spider. Oh, it must be a monkey. And it goes on and on and on. It's probably about 30 seconds worth of a really bad joke, but it follows it up again a little bit later, which I like that it follows it on. It continues the story and continues the future bit of the story back to the older start of the story. It keeps you watching it, and I think that's quite good. So the doctor's name is Kyle, I think, or Cole. His bite looks dreadful. I'm not going to lie, it looks really, really painful, really rough. And I don't think he will last too long. And I literally wrote that down in my notes. I was like, this guy's not going to live. I thought he was dead from the start. Don't think he's going to live. But I don't think, and I've watched it 4 times in a week, I don't think he reappears. The intro to we're getting the intro of the military coming in. They're driving in with their big GP cars. What, you know, certain travelling Power Ranger fans would be driving. So Alex and Jose investigate down in the basement or one of the lower levels of this hospital, and they're kind of looking around, trying to work out where the spider is. They kind of find a vent and work out that it's probably gone up in there. And there's a little bit of a jump scare in this point as well, with Jose being a bit of a scaredy cat. And as much as I want to mention scaredy cat, he mentions spider monkeys again. I don't know what it is with this bloke and spider monkeys. It's to do with the military again, and we meet the main man, Major Tanner. He's played by a guy called Ray Wise, who personally I watched this, like I said, 4 times. I'll tell you that a few more times throughout this review, I guess. But Ray Wise, I honestly thought was the dad of the Red Time Force Ranger. Where's his dad from Power Rangers? It's not him. It's not him at all. The Spider's next victim is an elderly gentleman that is bedbound, clearly can't really talk much. It's definitely there for recovery. The Spider kind of crawls up from his feet and attacks him. Very, very, very alien base kind of kill. Face huggery kind of. That's the vibe I got from this kill. They reference it at least one more time. They're up, Alex is up in the vents, and as he's kind of climbing through the vents, you see in the background something run. Obviously, it's a spider, but you see something run past the back of him. And I always think of The Simpsons with, I think it's Santa's little helper runs past the groundskeeper in the background in the vents, which is again a reference to one of the Alien films. The CGI at this point, it's not too bad. Like, it gets worse later on. When the spider's not shown too often, it's not bad at all. A bit like Jaws, you know. And again, referencing Jaws, there's a bit, I swear, sounds like the da-dum. But they don't play any more than that. So I don't know if that's a copyright thing or if they did that on purpose. But they've got Alien references, they've got Jaws references. I'm pretty sure there's a number of different references in this film that I just can't see off the top of my head. If there is and I've missed it, I'd like a comment below saying, Mark, you've missed out on this reference. You should have got that one. That's from Evil Dead or something like that. I would really like that. Alex Light. He's got like a torch while he's walking around climbing around in the vents. That turns off. Another traditional B horror kind of scare there. My light's turned off. He gets like stuck in some web. Realises the web is really, really strong, and that's kind of the first point where you realise that these aren't just normal spiders. He sets the web on fire. Extremely flammable. Useful note for the end of the film. So the military puts the whole hospital on lockdown. Don't really want to say the word lockdown over the last 2 years. But yeah, they put the hospital on lockdown. And even though they put the whole hospital on lockdown, the spider escaped. Of course it did. It rummaged into the sewers. And I thought it was probably going to be gone for a little while. But it didn't last. Yeah, the spider went into the sewers. It very, very smart, really, really clever spider. It made a web, and I can't think what he put. He either put some money or some chocolate or something in the web, and this bloke was walking around in the sewers. What this bloke was doing, I have no idea. I don't know who the guy was. Just a random person walking in the sewers, apparently. And he finds whatever it was. I can't think what it was. It was either money or chocolate or something. And he goes to grab it, and my arm's stuck because it's not normal spider web. And yeah, spider comes along, kills it. Bit of a graphic kill. And a few of these kills are fairly graphic, not blood wise, just big old like leg fangy things going through a body and stuff. They're kind of like, oof. Spiders. And I understand if you've got phobias on spiders, you probably won't want to watch this film, but I don't have a phobia on spiders, so here I am watching a spider horror film. I think it's actually a coin that Alex tries to trick the spider with, which is also quite a cool thing, that a human couldn't trick a spider with money, but the spider could trick a human with money, which is kind of a weird, I don't know. That's got to have some sort of meaning behind it that I can't think about either. 32 minutes, 25 seconds in, roughly, you know, not precise mark. Yeah, there you go. This big ass spider.
This is a big ass spider.
I love films and I love TV shows that reference the name of film or TV show. Alex mentions that he has a Twitter account and it's called Big Ass Bug Killer, which is actually a real Twitter account. I checked it out. I had to. I don't know if it has anything to do with the film or if someone's just used it because it's from a film. It was a Super Terminator, or Super Exterminator, should I say, and Jose. And then he kind of mentions that he's a bit like Robin and Batman, which I thought was quite a cool little nod to superheroes. Not dramatically, but, you know, I wanted a Spider-Man film and I get a Batman film. There's a speech from Jose. Like I said, we're about 35 minutes into the film, 40 minutes into the film. And he does this speech, and I honestly thought, and I've thought it every time I've watched it, even though I know what's happening, I go, he's going to die here. And there's a little bit later on in the film again when you go, he's going to die here. And I don't know if that was intended to make him feel like he could be a character that we kind of build up and like, and then just kill him off for the fact it's a horror film, and that doesn't normally happen. 35 minutes into the film, and the big ass spider, they've said the name of the film, gets mentioned again, so I'm going to just sit here and go,
I saw a big ass spider.
He said it! He said it!
big ass spiders. Let's mention the name of the film twice in 5 minutes of an hour and 20-minute film. I really like it. That second reference, I laughed because the moment it came on the screen, I went, it's the hide the keys, hide your wife guy from YouTube, and it actually kind of was meant to be. So I was like, I got the reference before they mentioned what reference it was. Bravo, Mike, and your editing skills and your creativity, because that's a really cool reference to YouTube 10 years ago. So on my notes, I've actually noted with 6 or 8 legs, and I have no idea what that's about. Maybe that's something that someone said, but I have no idea. And then the next thing is him talking to. So I've got Alex talking to Jose in the car while they're driving to look for this spider, and Alex goes, "It was massive, this spider." And he's like, Jose's like, "What? It's 6 inches? It's 8 inches? It's 14 inches?" And he goes, "It was 20 inches and black." That's what she said. That's what she said. Please, office quote there. But we see another kill. There's a bloke being a bit of a perv watching 2 women run past. He goes to tie his laces up. As he ties his laces up, the spider gets him. Cool, fair enough. And again, I thought that might have been the end of him, but I think it might have been his body that the spider throws on a picnic table later in the film. So it might have been him reappearing. The spider also tries to kill a little girl, but misses out. It's one of them ones where the kid's like this, and as it goes to walk away, which is always a tradition, I guess. Could have got that one. There's like 20 or 30 people have been cocooned in the skyscraper that you find out a little bit later on, and the spider is basically storing the food, or storing these people as food, as it's nearing stage 3. And again, we don't really know what these different stages are. They kind of mention them a little bit, but go for it. Alex is done for speeding as they race towards the park, as I mentioned. He tries to bribe the policeman with like, I think it was like $6 or $12 or something really stupid. He's like, I know, I'll just pay you off. Here's $12.
This is all I got, actually.
And then he's trying to warn the policeman that something's happening at the park. The policeman gets a call in from his walkie-talkie saying there's something happened at the park. He's like, I told you. And again, this is the point where the CGI, I think halfway through this film, kind of lets me down. Might let everyone down. I don't know. It's not. I shouldn't say it's just me. But they get to the park. Like I said, the family serving dinner or serving food at this picnic, and a body flies down. And again, you've got all these people running. I don't know. I just don't like it. I think it could have been done better. This whole park scene, like literally the drive to the park, the killing at the park, the people running at the park. It just doesn't. I don't know how to explain it. I just didn't enjoy it. I know that Masters on Light Studios might be doing a review on this film soon. And I'd love to see what he thinks about this park scene, because maybe it's just me being really picky. I think it was missing something, and I don't know if it was just the editing side of things. And I'm not going to badmouth the film because I enjoyed it, but the park bit just annoyed me a little bit. Like I said, the spider lobs his skeleton, fully clothed, onto their table. I've just read what I wrote. I imagine this spider walking up to a table with them all serving food, and he's thrown this skeleton on the table and gone, "There's your dinner, bitch. Where's my dessert?" And I was like, "Spider doesn't talk. Shut up." Or "You're my dessert." Should probably have been a better feedback there. But yeah, the whole park starts screaming. They're running. There's some idiot that pulls out his camera and he's like, "Oh," and yeah, obviously he gets killed off. I don't get why you see this massive 10-foot tall spider running towards you. You're like, whoa. If it was running away from you, sure. Coming towards you, massive scary spider, everyone else is running, I would run too. They call up this military girl that he's got a bit of a fling with. I think she's basically like Tanner's number 2 or something like that. She's a field working person, and I can't think if her name was Carly or Carla, but he's calling up like, "I've got your spider," and she's like, "You're driving into basically like an ambush." I can't think what they call it. And he's like, "What does that mean?" And she's like, "Look in front of you, you moron." And there's all these guys, all the military guys with their guns out, ready to destroy the spider. There's my cat. Should have got the cat to attack the spider. That's what they do. Maybe not a 20-foot spider. I wouldn't want that to happen. So yeah, they're driving along. The military, lots of bullets, lots of damage, but no damage to his spider. We find out that the spider has his like thick armor because a spider's ectoskeleton or something's a lot bigger, therefore it's a lot more stronger. They jump out of the car. Alex and Jose jump out of the pickup truck, and the spider throws it towards the military. Again, I think the spider's really clever. I love the fact that he's put some Mike's put some effort into this spider, and it's not just a general boring, walk around, let me get killed spider. Alex is flirting with this military girl. Any chance that he gets, he's flirting with the females in this film. The big ass spider runs into the woods and escape. And he's like, "I've lost my..." Alex goes, "I lost my truck." And Jose goes, "I lost my glasses." And it's like, can you really compare the two? Big old truck, cheap glasses. Maybe the action figure man took his glasses. Not that anyone will know that reference, but the action figure man picked up a pair of glasses over the weekend, and maybe they were Jose's. You might have to send them back to 2013, mate, because they might be his. So yeah, the military all gear up. They go into the woods all armed up, and to me, this is the point where they're hunting for the spider. And for me, it felt like I was playing Call of Duty. It felt like I was playing a shooting game. And again, this might have been a point where I didn't like it. The camera angles, the effects that they used on it, they weren't for me. I just don't think they were great for me. They worked, but maybe it's because it's nearly a 10-year-old film that it makes it to me slightly dated. And I reckon it was probably dated then. So if it was dated then, 10 years on, still fairly dated. But I didn't really enjoy it. But they're getting killed off one by one, these military guys. Carly, I've wrote the name down as Carly. She gets stuck in web. She thinks that she's about to get killed. She gets asked by this weird Jurassic Parky kind of guy, Jurassic Park guy, style guy, that's with Ray Wise, his character, and he's like, "Would you basically kill yourself if you had to? You've got," I think he was like, "You've got like bombs, you could blow the spider up." And she goes, "Yeah, the girl of my dreams and a big spider, and they're both trying to kill me on my day off." I really like that. It's a bit like Zombieland, where it's what was the quote? "The first girl I let into my life, and she tries to eat me." I love that quote, and it's like this. Jose the Mexican saves the duo. In reality, yeah, this was a point that I was saying earlier. I think this was a point where I'm going, he's going to die here. He goes in like guns blazing. I thought, oh, this is him gone. He's going to just get flies off or something. And no, he saves the day and actually, or saves that moment, I should say, and saves Alex and Carly. Stage 5 is about to happen, and like, what the hell is stage 5? We only kind of get mentioned stage 3 a little bit. Well, what's stage 5? What's stage 5? I'm asking. You're probably asking if you haven't seen the film. Stage 5 is that this spider is a female and it is hatching eggs right now. And these eggs will need food, which are where the characters that we've just mentioned have been getting like cocooned up and ready to be eaten. The spider is an alien. We find out that it's been crossbred with spadians, alien spiders and alien. Yeah, basically it's been crossbred with aliens and spiders. There's a mention about they wanted to see if they could do this, because if they could and crossbreed spiders and make them bigger, then they could crossbreed tomatoes and make them bigger. And if they could do that, they could save the world from starvation. Not really sure how you can compare spiders and tomatoes, but sure, fine, whatever. The spider, the next time you see it, has grown and it's the size of buildings and it's causing havoc from downtown. There's news reports on it being chased down the high street, downtown, or whatever you want to call it. The fast shots of the spiders climbing the block, the tower, the whatever you want to call skyscrapery thing, from a far distance. Honestly, they're not too bad. There's an airstrike about to go down. You've got like 20 minutes. So we go down there. Alex and Jose are there trying to save Carly from this tower, from this skyscraper. She's still alive. She's, like I said, cocooned up in this spider web. I think she's either paralysed or she's just like webbed up and can't move. But yeah, they've basically got 24 minutes to save her and prevent her from being spider food or being blown up. So there's a point where Jose says, "What's your plans?" And Alex's reply is, "Stop the spider, save the city, and kiss the girl." And again, referencing films. I'm really sure that's a Shaun of the Dead reference, where it's was it Kill Phil, go down to the Winchester for a drink. Alex explains to the Mexican Robin, I do like that, that the spiders eat, basically when they're obviously getting bigger, but the bigger they get, their ectoskeletons are getting stronger, and they prevent the shots and everything. But fire, they can use fire on the web, and the web comes from the spinnerax, or something like that. I'm sure that's a Doctor Who character. But Jose's like, "Oh yeah, so where is the spinnerax?" And he's like, "Up the bum." So we've got to shoot the spider up the bum with something like a rocket launcher, which they have in their car. Fantastic news. The building, like the debris from the building starts to fall down to the car. Graphics here looks a bit PS2, 15, 20-year-old graphics falling down, but it's still, you know, it's one scene, not complaining. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is Superman style music being played at this point. And we're back to the beginning of the film, with this Superman kind of music being played against the clock. He needs to save the girl, save the world. Funky rock music starts to play. We need to kill this spider. And shit in hell, could you imagine being in this paralysed state on the top of a skyscraper, on one of the top floors? You can't move, and you kind of look to your right, look to your left, and you then just see this massive, like, hand-sized spider crawling towards you, and it's about to chow down and eat you. Yeah, I don't know how I could handle that. Even for me, who I don't care for spiders, being a spider phobe. So after the elevator scene, literally they escape. the airstrike comes in and it blows up the spider. The spider falls from the top of this building. Spider falls from the top of this building, lands on the ground, and they're celebrating. End of the film. Woo! Tanner calls him up, calls Alex up, and goes, "Fantastic job! You've saved the girl. You saved the world. You've done your job. Fantastic. Well done." Before he could finish his sentence, Alex goes, "I'm gonna have to talk to you later," because in the background the spider's stood back up. It's not died. The rocket hasn't done enough damage to it. And we know what's going to happen because they've teased it throughout this film. You need to use that rocket launcher and shoot it up the bum, the spinnerax, or whatever it was that they called it. So yeah, typical horror film, typical Power Ranger style mindset of monster, whatever level. It's you think the monster's dead and it's not. Double tap, Zombieland reference, always double tap. So I've wrote down 2 notes from the film. One is we're going to shoot it in its butt, and then Alex goes up yours and shoots a rocket up the spider's bum, blows it up into 100 million pieces, and the crowd goes wild. All the audience, all the crowd around him are cheering. All the army people are, yay! I think that's a really good way to end the film. Him saying "up yours," much better than the Terror Bird's last sentence. Jose goes, "Get a room, you two," as they start to kiss. Alex and Carly kiss, and that's the last sentence of the film. The end credits start to play, and it cuts to Major Tanner doing the teaser for a sequel. What's the biggest cockroach that you've killed? And yeah, I mean, we're coming up to nearly 10 years. It's nearly been 10 years since this film came out. And I would love to see a sequel of this film. I think we need a sequel of this film. Big Ass Cockroaches, BAC, back. It's back for good with a part 2. This came out in 2013. We're nearly in 2022 now. And if it takes a year to record and edit, then yeah, it'll be 2023 and that will be a 10-year anniversary. And imagine what has happened in 10 years. Has Alex and Jose killed more bugs, monster and alien bugs? Are Alex and Carly still going out? Are they married? Have they got a kid? Is a kid in the bug killing industry? Did he get a new truck from the army military people? Because, you know, that didn't really get mentioned in this film. There's so many questions that I could think of. And I'm pretty sure that you lot could probably imagine a few questions to ask too. What I'll do is I'm going to end the video here.